Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our very last session of this particular series of the Resilient Mama Movement. And we have been talking all about the going from reaction to loving response, from going from that overwhelm and anxiety and shifting back into more joy in parenting. And through this series, we have had so many awesome discussions. If you haven't gotten to hear some of them, please make sure that you do with the reruns, go back and check it out. But today, on our last day, I am so thrilled and so excited. And it's just so interesting that Brenda Pierce was able to meet up with us on this very last day. She is not only a speaker and an author, a TV show producer and host, but she's a mom. First of all, she's a mom and she's a grandma, and so she comes from that line of family. But she also has been a frontline RN for a long time, right? And she really appreciates the integrative uh, approach to life and to healing. And that's what makes her so interesting for this particular series, because she is involved in the Reiki Masters as a teacher, and she also practices as and is certified in hypnosis. And very excitingly, not only is this conversation going to be so impactful today, but Brenda Pierce is also going to share one of her gifts. She's going to give us a gift of a session, a 20-minute session, once this interview is done. So be sure to listen and stay as we conclude, so that you can go through this process and enjoy the gift that integrates really all. It's so awesome that she's doing this at the end of the series, because it really will bring together a lot of the things we've talked about. So thank you, Brenda, for coming. Welcome.
Welcome to you, and thank you very much for having me as your guest. I'm really happy to be here with you and everyone who's assembled here. This is amazing.
Yes, yes. I'm so excited to have you, because I know that you're going to bring together a lot of things that we have been talking about. And I forgot to mention also you have a three-part theory about life, and we're going to get into that a little bit in a few minutes. But to begin with, I like to start off our conversation. Everyone has started the same with, like, what's your passion, your purpose that drives everything you've been doing so many things in your life. So what is driving that? What's under the current underneath it all?
Wow, that is such a powerful question. And for me, combining the allopathic and the integrative approaches together and really bringing it into a beautiful nutshell that is not only respectful of medicine as it is,
Mhm.
and bringing out the best of it, but also bringing in the best of energy medicine and science, and this need to be relevant and present in the moment of now in an integrative approach. That's really my passion.
Yeah, and that really, really leads to the next question about resilience, like your definition of resilience, because your passion feeds right into it. So would you describe resilience as you view it?
Resilience. So if you are here in this moment of now,
Yes.
breathing, you are resilient. You've come through so much to get to this moment of now. And yet, there that resilience is based on the good stuff, the bad stuff, and everything in between. And the thing is, though, every one of those little beads is like a bead on a beautiful string of pearls.
Mm.
And when you have your string is full, or to the point where you are right now here, it's
Yes.
full and beautiful. And you look down at that string of beads and pearls, and you just know that you own it,
Mm.
you've lived it, you are it, and everything that comes from it is truly a gift. And I know when we're going through the rough stuff, boy, we can't see the gift. But hindsight is beautiful in that no matter what has happened to you, if you are here, you're resilient. And that is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to your family. And sometimes we wish we had that resilience way back,
Mm.
but you know what? This feeds in beautifully into my three-part theory as well. And we'll get into that in just a moment. But
Yeah.
the thing is, you are the culmination of all these beautiful beads in your life. So honor it, own it, wear it, be it, and don't be afraid to show it off.
And yeah, stand up and be tall. I love that. And I love how you spoke it, because a lot of times as moms were, we and maybe you can talk about this too, because you were a mom, you were working as a nurse, you had all the life stuff happening. You weren't in this place that you are now, where you have the children all grown and all that. So while you were going through that, we think about the messy parts of life, and sometimes we don't feel enough. We feel guilty, we're feeling anxious, all the symptoms of something that's underneath it all. And yet, as you described that beautiful pearl, it is a gem, right? All these messy parts is like a gem that gives us an opportunity to up level and to understand more deeply, and to come to know ourselves as well as others so much better. So would you like to speak into that?
Oh, absolutely. So the best way I can speak into that gem, that beautiful polished bead that is your life and your life breath and legacy, comes from a three-part theory that I really had to sift through this. And obviously, you get to a point where, you get those aha moments in life, right?
Yeah.
And so to become that beautiful polished gem that you are right here, right now, just take a deep breath on that right for a moment and feel your sparkling brilliance right here in your heart center as you exhale. And so this beautiful moment comes to you because of this three-part theory that I think most of your viewers will relate to. When we start out in this world, we have limited choices. We choose, when we need to, do our basics, but really we are standing under so much that has come to us, the expectations of our parents, our culture, our religious views, our language, our schooling,
Yeah.
all those choices are our parents' best intentions at the time. They did the best with what they did and knew at the time.
Mhm.
But we as sponges inhale that. It permeates through us. It becomes our sense of belonging in the community that we're raised in.
Mhm.
And when we're raised in this, we have to survive by adopting and mimicking and acting out according to all these expectations. And that's fine. That's how we survive, we grow, we thrive in
Mhm.
our environment, good, bad, and otherwise, right?
Right.
And then when we get to make a choice, so usually it's when we pivot, and we pivot into the next phase, which I call the understanding stage. So we take all that knowledge and expectation and culture and heritage, and now we have to apply it in our presence in the real world. So we step into, marriages, relationships, schooling, moving, all the things that are those big transitional things that we are being prepared for in the understanding stage. And we go into this understanding stage, which I kind of attest to being like sandpaper. So we go out, we make our presence known, we get either accepted or rejected, and whatever it is that we're doing. And there's this beautiful symbiotic dance. And we're being buffeted, we're being pushed. Sometimes we feel like we take one step forward and two steps back.
Mhm.
That's really the gritty times in life,
Yeah.
but we get through it. So we have our families, our relationships, our jobs, our careers. We succeed, we fail, we fall, everything in there. And then we dance and we start to make sense of who we are based on the past, but also by all this sandpaper and buffeting.
Mm.
So you think about driftwood, when it's polished by sandpaper and the winds of time and the water and the sand, it has this beautiful patina, very, very beautiful, soft texture, and yet it has the strength of time,
Right.
as is carbon, right? A chunk of coal is carbon. And under pressure and time and polishing and cutting and everything else, it becomes that gem, that beautiful diamond in our life.
Yeah.
And when we finally come to this point where we realize we are the beauty in our life, that we are the culmination of everything that we've been through, all the challenges and trials and tribulations. Doesn't mean there isn't more, but it becomes more subtle and soft. And
Yeah.
we start to really appreciate the diamond that is our presence in our life moving forward. And that diamond holds our strength, our courage, our resilience, our
Mhm.
joie de vivre. We find we are ourself in our body. And at that point, we go into the next phase of life, which I call the overstanding, where we are now able to pour our wisdom, our guidance, our strength, our courage, our she-ness, our beauty onto others. And we live and step into ourself. And as we step into ourself, we vibrate according to the scale of consciousness at a certain level. If you ever know about Dr. David Hawkins and the scale of consciousness, there's
Yeah.
that pyramid, right? That beautiful
Yeah.
pyramid. And we finally become higher in this scale of consciousness.
Mhm.
And we own it and we affirm it and we ripple out, just like the butterfly effect around the world. And that basically is where we're at, where you're at, Laura.
Yeah.
You know, you've come a long way. And
Mhm.
for those of you that are in that understanding stage and you're being buffeted around, motherhood is probably the biggest piece of sandpaper there is. We
Yes.
learn as much as we give to our children. But the thing is to be open enough to love our children and hold them in our heart and know that they are going through their, you know, their understanding as well as they grow and mature,
Yeah.
and just be a softer place to land for them. Doesn't mean that you're giving in. It means that you're resilient in that you call up the she bear, the motherness, that goddess within you, and you hold on to the strength and the courage and the knowingness of these children that you have given life to.
Yeah.
And that basically talks to the resilience. And I hope this gives hope to your younger viewers to know that things will get better. You
Yeah.
are being buffeted. You shine, but don't hold back your strength, your courage while you're going through it all. Know
Mhm.
that that resilience is inborn in you, and the more you mature and experience in life, the more that brilliance is just going to shine.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about your imagery, and I love that you're sharing this with our viewers who are in the process of the mothering aspect of things, and that sandpaper is refining their life, because I also see it as, our children are our mirrors. They give us a chance to grow up together with them. We're reparenting ourselves as much as parenting them. And what I was just looking over a few things earlier today from my own children writing to me while they were younger. And just there's something that was really special that I saw for the first time. I don't know that I saw it when I was younger, but what I heard them saying was, in essence, they were saying, "Thank you for standing beside us."
Mm.
And what do our children want most and need most from us is for us to stand beside them. Many times they figure out, they have to go through the process of figuring things out, and we need to trust them in that. But I love how also seeing them, hearing them, and allowing like you said, the sandpaper to help us to open up to the beauty that's inside of us. It's almost like it gets kind of clouded over, and the sandpaper can open that up and let
Yeah,
that brilliance shine through.
yeah, absolutely. How beautiful, and my heart speaks to what you've just shared. It's true, and that's yeah. Sometimes we get lost in the dust storm of the sandpaper of life. Just always hold on and just know that things are temporary. You know, the pain is temporary, but it is a choice sometimes too. We can
Yes.
choose to stay in that pain, or we can choose to just allow ourselves to flow. Because sometimes the greatest resistance is when we are personally blocked, and that sandpaper is there to open our eyes, our heart, our mind, our spirit, have another look at things, and just really be that resilient ripple in the ocean of life.
Yeah. And I talk a lot about the cultural that we come from. We culturally our lives have been changing, and it seems that each wave has something it's bringing forward, right? And I don't like to engage in the blame of, oh, well, this happened to me and that's why this is happening, these kinds of things. I prefer to see it as, wow, this is happening. Now what? What is
Mhm.
next? What can we do? I come from a very tumultuous home life, as a young person. And my question was, how can we do it better?
Yeah.
you know and I think that I'm not the only one. I think a lot of moms are asking that same question. And with the time period at this point, this pinpoint time of history, we have a lot of stuff going on, and the news is really um, accentuating certain things, right? But then there's a lot of other stuff that's not being amplified as much. That's really awesome. And so taking the opportunity to examine, like, what we think about grows, what we ponder on grows. And if we're pondering on what's not right, it's much harder to parent and keep our children out of that anxiety, which leads to so many things. The adolescent years, when they get into that, it's just so hard for them. And so it becomes hard for us unless we can ponder also on the possibility of new.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the thing is we are all on this journey of discovery and self-mastery.
Yes.
And and so many once our children start to go to school, they're out in the world. They're being influenced with so many things that are beyond our control or even our desire for our children. But
Hmm.
if you can become that safe place,
Hmm.
just this open, calm vessel and really anchor into that when your children come home and they kind of slap you with words and or run and ignore you, or you're trying to have a semblance of grace and peace in your home, what you emulate, your children are absorbing and will be you parent sometimes by example other than the words. And so if you can just take that step back and
Hmm.
understand that you're all on this journey, sometimes um, it isn't necessary a hierarchical view, which is what our generation, yours and mine, kind of grew up in. You do as I say, not what I do.
Yep.
Whereas now it's do what
Do
the
what I
doing and the beingness rather than so much the sayingness. Your children are that sponge. Remember, they're under their understanding and they're absorbing. So
Yes.
sometimes being that gentle force, standing firm in
Hmm.
your she bearness and protectiveness, and just raising yourself up like this, taking a deep breath. This is a little trick, is just doing this and elevates your mood, your energy, your anchoring into the moment of now. And
Hmm.
that example of you like the she bear rising beyond the chaos will be a strength for your children. You'll see them do this. You will see them also rising up. Even if you physically do this in front of them, just they will know that this is a moment of grace and peace, and that you are, and then what comes out of you, if you can temper it with some of that gentleness and that not being this abrasiveness, but more of this gentle calmness. And again, it comes from that moving up that hierarchy of the pyramid of love and above, and coming from the higher vibes, it will ripple out.
Yes. And then the beginning part is being capable of seeing that within ourselves, being able to turn this inward so that it comes outward. I had an older German woman that was very much a mentor while I was raising my kids for me. And one time she said to me this, she says, your children go out, they go to school, and it's kind of like this, she says. It's kind of like your rose. You have a beautiful rose. you've worked on it and it's growing so well, and then the rain comes and the rose falls over into the mud. Now, what are you going to do? Are you just going to hose it off? Or are you going to gently remove the mud from the petals so that the rose can shine again? And I thought that was such a great illustration to me of how we parent. Our children go out and these things happen, but if they can come home and feel like they're being mentored and protected, and yes, a stand has to be made at times, but to do it from a place of that love and adoration for the gifts that they bring forward is so very important too.
It is. And that's a beautiful analogy because we as parents see the beauty of our child, even when they can't see it for themselves, or the world is bullying them or attacking them in whatever way. And these days with social media and, all the things that they're exposed to in school these days. And we could go on a diatribe about that. But the thing is though, and here's where science comes into play. And I think, we spoke about this in our pre-interview,
Yes.
and I just wanted to share. So, we as mothers in science and biology classes, and I know my nurses training and for years in the standardized medical system, we are taught that when we are growing and nurturing these beautiful children inside of us, that
Mm,
it's a one-way valve, a one-way street through the umbilical cord to our child and to the placenta and everything that goes, that we provide the nutrition and the oxygen and the blood and all the mechanical things that are required to develop this child. And we're basically taught that it just grows and develops.
right.
But there's such a we also know through the years that the music you play affects your child, the calmness or whatever stressors are in your life affect the child.
Mhm.
But it's, again, still that one-way valve. But do you realize, and there's a beautiful article by on the internet, and there's been science done on this and everything else, and I think your viewers will really benefit from this.
I know I did. So yeah, I'm so glad you're sharing this. Yeah.
So, so you know how, when we had the analog phones and that sort of thing, how you thought about somebody, you picked up the phone and they were actually there.
Yes.
The phone never rang, but you were thinking about somebody, you picked up the phone, and there it is. We have that connection with our children, even more so than ever. We know when our child needs us to give them a call or when they need a hug. And there's a lot of intuitiveness that goes with motherhood. But there's science behind this now, too, because when this child is receiving all this stuff from us, they're also sending us DNA and stem cells back to us.
Uh,
And those precious little molecules that are so minuscule and so tiny are impregnating themselves into our heart, our mind, our spirit, our physicality, so that actually we are so connected
mm,
to our children. And that's why we are. And if you watch in nature, mother's protective abilities of animals in nature.
mhm.
And you know how some people will say, I don't have the mothering instinct. Well, become a mother and you will be filled with instincts. So never
Never
prejudge
worry.
you. No, it doesn't. But there we are so embedded into each other.
Yeah.
We, and as a mother of loss,
Yeah.
also know that we breathe for our children. So this is taking a step further. We
Mhm.
breathe for our child. Our heart beats with our child because they're with us. They really are. Not just in our heart as a metaphorical
Mm,
thing or because we're thinking of them. They are embedded in us. And so we are our children's legacy. So when you go back to your living children, and
mhm.
I've been blessed with three that were able to stay with me and are here with me and are grown into adults.
Mm,
And we've been through the rough times and the good times and everything. But I've never lost my love, my she-bearness, my protectiveness for all of my children, living and beyond.
yes.
And so this is a sacred gift that gives us this resilience to never give up on our children, to never forget our children, to never really leave our children. We may have some times where we think we want to leave them
Mm,
because they're going through their stuff. They're
yeah.
going through their understanding. And sometimes that conflicts because of our overstanding on
Mhm.
our child
Mhm.
while they're going through their understanding.
Yeah.
So this is just more proof of this resilience that is inborn in us. But we are here together to really nurture and elevate that resilience and to really help our children by being the best parent we can be, by this whole series, this whole event, but this whole understanding that
Yeah.
is science based, in fact.
It's so amazing. Just so amazing. For me, when you first told that to me, I could feel why I feel so much. From the moment they're born and I'm holding them and I want to place them back onto my heart, that it's just like there's something. Yes, there is something. And what I love, yeah, there's that it's like a string, right? It's a love string. Um and our children sometimes when they're going through stuff, our conflict with it or our resistance is because we haven't really resolved those experiences that we went through that are so similar. And so having that opportunity to walk through it with them rather than resisting it, but to walk together can help so much. And I love this for a second reason. There's a real, you mentioned about the bullying and that we know teen suicide is rampant and all the things that are happening. We're living in very anxious times right now. I hear moms talking about that and how they're concerned for their children. And what I have come to research and find out too is how very important the parent-child connection is over the peer-to-peer connection. Peer-to-peer connection is fine, but it's fickle. It changes because those children are also figuring things out. But when a child has that solid foundation with their parents, and that continues to be nurtured even through those really, really hard times, it pays off because our child knows where to go to get the stability while they're going through these challenging times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
she bear, of course, rises up. Don't be afraid of it. It's,
Right.
yeah.
Well, even if you go to music, so the peer-to-peer thing is like a rock concert, it is just noise. There's a lot of noise. There's a beat, and that is that harmonizing beat that is the peer beat, but there's this noise.
Yeah.
Whereas the parent-to-child thing is more like a solfeggio frequency of a violin string in concert,
Ah,
so it's always there. It has this beautiful continuation through the ages. Rock songs and concerts and stars of that, they come and they go and they have their high life and their low life, but this frenetic symphony that is parenthood and mother-child relationship, it just transcends.
which reminds me of this, there's a lot of pressure on families in many different realms, whether it's financial, the busy, the going, the not going, the doing of whatever that is. And you were a busy mom too. So if you don't mind, we would love for you to speak into that a little bit because we're talking about all these wonderful things. And I'm sure there's many parents who are listening that would love to be like that, but I got this and I got that and I got this. What can you say to them about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In hindsight, it's always 2020. I'm now a retired RN and I'm a grandmother, and and I'm helping now. I've sold everything in my world and moved in with my mom, my elderly mom. So here's this intergenerational thing of
Sure.
respect and honor. So because my mom was a safe place and a very strong influence in my life, as were my grandparents and this sort of thing, it's the giving back. So I'm
Right.
at that stage in my life where I'm giving back. I'm supporting her to be in her own home and live here in harmony and grace and peace as long as God gives her,
Right.
and the nursing helps. But you got to go back to the time when I married into a dairy farm family and I was a full-time RN. So shift work was my life, and dairy farming is a 24/7 job, and there's no days off. And my mother-in-law was not a great strong. She had her issues. She was going through her issues and trying to be a parent, and had some personality disorders and dysfunction and things like that. We're the opposite extreme, you know.
Yeah.
And so my husband was raised in a not very loving and kind environment,
Mhm.
filled with a lot of expectations. And so when I married into this, and I ended up in Oz, so to speak, on the family farm, and trying to find my place as a daughter-in-law, a wife, and working and balancing my expectations to be doing what I did on the farm as well. God, I know, and thank you, God, for all that, because it led me to here. But
Right.
I know what chaos and
Mhm.
pain and agony and expectations and false expectations and craziness.
Mhm.
And my husband suffered a very serious farming accident at the time that our we were trying to get pregnant and couldn't.
Mhm.
Well, now hindsight is the stress in our life was probably the biggest factor.
Right.
And if you're stressed, so it's been proven, in war-torn situations, you will lose your period. You will not get pregnant because it's a survival mode. I was in survival mode in that stage. So took fertility drugs and got pregnant. And just as I thought I was pregnant, I was about just missed my period by a week. And my husband suffered a C1, C2 hangman's fracture.
Oh, God.
And so that trauma, that emotional trauma, ended up hurting one of my twins.
Mhm.
So with twins being fraternal, they develop at different times and different, little bit off, but they both develop. These
Mhm.
were fraternal twins. So I know what stress is all about. Here I was, happy to be finally pregnant,
Mhm.
but devastated that I didn't know if my husband was going to make it, if he was going to be paralyzed, if what was our life going to look like?
Mhm.
What kind of life situation were we going to have?
Mhm.
My whole world fell apart. And that emotional trauma does affect our children. And I know this, I was talking about that before, the stressors around us.
Sure.
My one son was born breech and healthy and screaming. They were born a month early. And my other son, twin B, Kenny, so Kevin and Kenny was born with developmental issues to his heart, his lungs,
Mhm.
and actually the vena cava and the trachea were wrapped around each other. So there was developmental issues because the heart forms in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So when you're just figuring out that you're pregnant,
Mhm.
there's a major development has gone on already in terms of those cells multiplying, doing the symbiotic dance of creation.
Yeah.
So I know I had, so a year and a day, the most incredible year of my life that has transformed me the most was going from where my husband broke his neck.
Mhm.
And one day on the anniversary of that, we lost our Kenny to open heart surgery.
Oh.
And from there, you talk about something that will change your life and rock your world. That one year, 34 years ago, actually in 2 weeks, will be the 34th anniversary of Kenny's passing. So I know what busy is. And then I went on to have two more children after that because I had to, I allowed myself to. I didn't block myself off.
Right.
And Kevin, my surviving son of the pair, because I had to go from grieving, I had to combine grieving mom and loving mom,
Yeah.
both at the same time, and go back to work 2 weeks after
Oh,
losing Kenny.
oh my goodness. Yeah.
I know what it's like to try to make sense of it all. And
Mhm.
it's taken me a long time to do that.
Mhm.
And there were the years I just wanted, whenever October 10th rolled around, I just want to crawl under a rock and disappear. But many of those October 10ths, I had to work. I had to shift work
Yeah.
and take care of the dying, the sick, and those that were entrusted into my care to my highest and best, even though I wanted to crumble and fall.
Goodness.
But I can tell you the resilience of motherhood got me through it. If it can get me through it, it can get you through it too. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between.
Yeah,
And be proud of those pearls on your necklace. Wear it with pride.
absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, that's the purpose of this whole Resilient Mama movement, is to recall each of us to that and to draw our attention, when there's too much going on, bringing it back to ground, right? Bringing it back to what's the most important things and then going back out, but going back out grounded.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly like what you did. You brought it in and then you began to, kind of like a flower, you got the bud and then you bring it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
for sharing
exactly.
that vulnerable story. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome. If it helps one person, it's worth sharing. Oh,
Yeah. I know you have a gift for us. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to share what that is. And then we have a special piece that comes after that, where if you stay on, you're going to get to hear and go through a process with Brenda. And so hang on there. But first, would you share the gift that you have for everyone?
absolutely. So again, as it all comes down to the inner child,
Mm,
it's all about a guided meditation. It's short. It's 13 minutes. I mean, it's something that you can plug into and do over and over again. Just save the link to your favorites, and you can go back to it whenever you want to. But it's emerging the child. So again, merging our wounded inner child, our younger self, to our mature self, and becoming one, and honoring and merging. So you can be actually where you are now is the best parent for your younger self because you have all that wisdom. And your younger self, when your younger self was insecure
mm,
or feeling out of sorts with the understanding that was being poured on you, you
yes.
know, we have emerged through that together. So bringing the two together in such a beautiful way will help you to be more resilient, to be stronger, to be more capable, because as parents, the wounded child sometimes becomes the wounded parent. But
Yeah.
if we can heal both,
Mhm.
then we become stronger, more better, more present for our families and our children, especially because they deserve the best of us, even in these troubling times, even in all the confusion. So that's what my gift is for you.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I mean, your words in total today have been beautiful, a beautiful gift, but this is really beautiful because as you were describing this gift of our inner child and our and then our adult person, and that fragmentation and that struggle can really create a tiredness, an overwhelm, an anxious self. And boy, oh boy, every morning, I know moms every morning wake up wanting to be that best parent to their child. They go to bed hoping that they were that best child. But the place to start is ground and center. And so, what a beautiful gift. You got to be sure and go get it. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. So it's worth setting the clock even just 15 minutes earlier to do this process and
Oh,
then emerge, right?
yes, yes. And 15 minutes, I am telling you, I raised four girls. And this kind of work wasn't out there when I was raising my children. It was in the very early 80s. 81 was my
Yeah.
first child was born. And there wasn't all this out there to help. There was not even the science behind it to teach. But I quickly realized if I wanted to show up well with my children the way I had intended to when I left home as a teenager, I had to do something different. And one of the things I did was get up earlier. Even though I was maybe not getting the sleep I needed the space in the mornings to. So what a beautiful way to spend it. 15 minutes of that guided meditation can really help because now you get to rest in it, not just make it up.
Absolutely. And ripple out, ripple out.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so if everybody stays, you're going to get to hear the conclusion of this. So please join us, and if not, pause this video and come back to it before it expires, so that you can experience this with us. If you're driving, pause and come back. Otherwise, yes, let's go ahead, Brenda. I'm going to let you lead the call now. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So get yourself in a comfortable position. If you can support your back and your neck. So this chair is really nice because it's got a high little groove and you can just put your head back. But get yourself in a comfortable position. Even if you're laying down, pause and lay down and come back. So in my later career, well, the last 20 years, I found Reiki and it found me in my workplace and it changed my world. And again, 20 years ago, this knowledge was looked at as woohoo and crazy and and all this sort of thing, and then combining it with the nurse inside of me, there was quite a conflict. But 3 minutes of hands-on Reiki changed my world forever. It led me to where I am here with you now. But over the last couple of years, I found something called rapid transformational therapy, and it's developed. You can look up Marissa Peer online in YouTube, and you can watch her transformative work. So I've studied for the last 2 years, and I became a certified RTT practitioner and a certified hypnotherapist, which is just blows my mind with the capabilities of this. So what I'm going to teach you right now is I'm going to take you through a guided hypnosis meditation.
Okay.
But I'm going to teach you how the first part where you can go into hypnosis yourself. You can do this yourself. And this will help you to become more resilient. So if you just take a few minutes and put yourself into that hypnotic state and get really deep in touch with yourself through the subconscious mind, which is the default circuitry of everything that we do in our conscious world. This will change your life. This tool is one more to add to your toolbox. So what we're going to do is right now, I'm just going to walk you through the getting into the hypnotic state. And we all do this. I don't know if you realize this. If you ever drive somewhere and you wonder how you got from point A to point B safely, it's because you were hypnotized. You got into that hypnotic state.
Yeah.
Or when you watch a movie or a TV show and and the show passes and you don't know how you got through it, but you sat there for 2 hours and you're blanked out. You were hypnotized. So hypnosis is a natural state of being, and what hypnosis does is it takes you into a deeper state. So we have the alpha, beta, REM sleep, delta, all these other different stages of sleep. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into REM, rapid eye movement sleep. But you're not going to be asleep. In fact, we step your subconscious out to be more aware than you even are right now. And when your subconscious comes to the fore like this, with the positive suggestions that I'm going to be putting into you, this is like resetting your default settings. And so we're going to create more resilience through the hypnosis session that we're going to have and help you to be more affirmed as the best possible mother you can be. Resilient, beautiful inside and out, knowing that you are powerful and that you're all that you dream and desire as a mother is possible for you. Just another bead on that beautiful pearl of necklace that you have. So how to get into this hypnotic state is very quick and very easy. And sometimes people think, I didn't even know that didn't work. It works, trust me. And so what we're going to do is with your face forward like this, I will show you right now, I will talk you through it, and then we'll do it together, is you roll your eyes up as if looking to a real or imagined spot on the ceiling overhead, like you're looking between your eyebrows. Just turn your eyes up and take a deep breath in and out. Maintaining your gaze, take another deep, beautiful breath in, and you're going to find that you're going to start to blink, and it's okay. Don't fight it. That's your eyes are starting to become heavy, droopy, drowsy in that very quick moment. So again, taking a deep breath up, always maintaining your eyes up under your eyelids. On the exhale, you're going to lower your lids over your eyes. And taking another deep breath in, holding that gaze upwards. You breathe out, but this time you're going to try to open your eyelids, and you're going to find it's going to be a funny feeling, like your eyelids are heavy, droopy, drowsy, like they're glued tight, locked tight, sealed shut. And you're going to find that you may flutter your eyelids, but they're going to want to stay shut. So that basically is the beginning process that is going to initiate this. And if you do this, whenever you need to take that mental pause, you can do this yourself for yourself at any moment, anytime. So even if you're in the dentist chair, you can even teach your kids this, and you can work with them as well to really, so in a dentist chair, if you can put yourself into a hypnotic state and just focus on the breathing, you will find that the trauma of the dentistry or whatever procedure you're going through, it could be a surgical, medical stressor, whatever, you can do that. You can actually really anchor into the peace that's in your heart. So with that in mind, we're going to go through this process now. And I will let you all go on autopilot right now and participate. Remember that this is not a replacement for any medical diagnosis, treatment, or advice, but this is something that is gifted to you to try and assimilate into your life. So looking forward, raise your eyelids up, your eyes up as if looking to that real or imagined spot on the ceiling overhead or the wall behind you, whatever it is. Taking that deep breath in and let it out. And we'll do this again. Take another deep breath in. And this time on the exhale, lower your lids over your upturned eyes. Taking another deep, beautiful breath in through your nose. And out. Now relax your eyes under your eyelids and tilt your chin as if you're looking over a railing to the floor below. Taking another deep, beautiful breath in and out. Now try as you might to open your heavy, droopy, drowsy eyes. They'll feel like they are glued tight, locked tight, sealed shut. And if they're fluttery, that's okay. Take another deep, beautiful breath in through your nose. And now see before you on the exhale, a beautiful staircase of 10 steps unfolding before you. They're carpeted in beautiful, soft, cushiony carpeting. And keep breathing in through your nose and out your mouth. Imagine your hands stretched out beside you, and on either side you feel the guardrails, the handrails, and you know that you are safe and you are secure. Now taking step number 10, we descend into a deepening of our consciousness and relaxation. Taking step number 9, you feel your feet. You see your feet. You hear your feet. Taking step number 8, descending into the state of relaxation that feels so good. You go deeper and deeper and deeper. Taking step number 7. You let go of the cares of the world around you, and you know that this is your time, your space, your place, and you go deeper. Taking step number 6. You feel your feet, you hear your feet, you see your feet as you take step number 5. descending deeper and deeper and deeper into a beautiful place of peace. You take step number 4, feeling lighter, feeling brighter, feeling anchored in the moment of now. Taking step number 3, you are present, you are here, you are in control as you take step number 2. You feel your feet, you hear your feet, you see your feet descending into the perfection of this moment of now as you take step number 1. And you arrive into this beautiful place of peace, of harmony, of now. Taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do except be present here and now. And in this beautiful place of peace, you try to open those eyes, your eyelids that are heavy, droopy, drowsy. And you find that they just want to stay in this place of peace and relaxation. They are glued tight, locked tight, sealed shut. And we're going to test your consciousness, your level of relaxation right now. And you're going to follow my words and extend your hands out, your arms out in front of you with your palms facing each other. And in each of your hands, I have pressed a magnet, one side with the positive side out and one with the negative side out. And we know opposites attract. And as you hear my words, your hands feel irrevocably, impellingly, compellingly attracted to each other. And as I count down from 5 to 1, you find the strength of the pull of the magnets in your hands attracts. 5, 4, 3, getting stronger, more irresistible. 2, 1, they are just attracted to each other in a clap and then relax into your lap. This proves how beautifully suggestible and compellingly relaxed you are to follow the suggestions of my voice as I lead you through this beautiful guided meditation. Before you now, you see this beautiful vista that opens up in front of you. And you walk into the middle of this beautiful space. It can be in the woods, at the beach, in a beautiful park or garden. You choose the location and you find a bench. You walk over to it and sit down, and you're so relaxed, so happy, so peaceful. And you hear the sounds of gurgling brook or a fountain splashing, the water tickling itself with joy. And in this beautiful vista, and even if it's the waves at the ocean, whatever it is you choose to hear, you are in control. But you are in a place of peace and you are in a happy space that feels so good, so guided, so relaxed in this moment of now. And the beauty of the experience is so filling your heart, your mind, your body, and soul with peace. And in this moment, there is strength, there is grace, there is love, there is honor for you. And you feel like your face is turned up to the sunshine to receive the gifts of this experience. The knowingness is inside of you that you are love, you are strength, you are resilience, you are enough, you are good enough, smart enough, mother enough, resilient enough to be the best person you can be. And you take a deep breath now in through your nose breathing in the beauty of these words, this space, this experience. And on the exhale, you know without a shadow of a doubt that you embody motherhood to its highest and best for all parties concerned. That in your ability to juggle life, a job, a career, motherhood, you are strong and vibrant and sure. And your beauty shines through from the inside out. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, you see the strength of your character, your spirit, your knowingness, and that you are guided by the love that is you, that comes from you, that comes back to you. And you're more aware of it in everything you do, everything you see, every word you say, everything you touch. And you are a human being embodying this beautiful, resilient soul that you are. That you honor those pearls on the necklace of life. And you can feel them. And they're beautiful, just like you. That you can come back to this moment, this place, this space at any time you need to. And you are better, stronger, more knowing, more validated, more in tune with the sacredness of motherhood. And you step forward with all these beautiful gifts that are yours to become this beautiful, resilient mom that you've dreamed of, wanted to be, and know you are. That everything and everyone that has touched your life in this series, their knowingness, their wisdom is yours. Take a deep breath and inhale that all in. And let it go. And that Laura has led us through this amazing, amazing series where every day has been a new gem on the string of your life, a new pearl of resilience, of beauty and strength and grace. And taking a deep, beautiful breath in through your nose one last time. You feel it settle into your cells. All the beautiful trillions of cells in your body now vibrate with the resonance of the beauty of life, of motherhood, of resilience, from the very top of your head to the tips of your toes. You are renewed, refreshed, invigorated, and resilient to face the rest of your life as the best of your life. And so, as we rise up from 5 to 1, we are rising up from the bench and walking up 5 steps back into the reality of the here and now with renewed life and vigor and purpose for all that we do and all that we be. So taking step number 5, you see the steps in front of you and you take step number 4 and feeling yourself come back into your body. Taking step number 3, you wiggle your fingers and toes. Taking step number 2, your eyes start to lighten and flutter and open to see the beauty of the day around you. Taking step number 1, you arrive back into the world of here and now, your present self, your beautiful self. And so it is. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Brenda. What a beautiful experience. My goodness.
You're
Oh
so
my gosh, do you all feel it? Do you all feel it? I just feel so Yeah, I feel so good. So relaxed. So present. Thank you. And thank you all for listening to this event. Please check the replays. Make sure to get Brenda's gift. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Bye, everyone. You'll be hearing from me. See you soon.